Hello, folks. I'm OdinSpack, and welcome back to 33 years and counting of my favorite games. This is part 35, the year 1988. And quick plug because I'm running towards the end of the series, but also I have a major event coming up, Stacked Game Marathon. It's this weekend. Please check out the Twitch channel. There'll be a link in the description. I'm going to plug it again tomorrow. I'm going to plug it again the day after that because it starts on Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. So please be there for that. And if you're watching in the future, there'll still be stuff happening with it, like moving forward. But I mean, as far as like if you're watching it now, this video now, it's an ongoing thing. It's one of the biggest things I've ever planned. So I'm really excited for it. Please come and buy tons of different games. It's over 64 hours of content. It's non-stop, starting Friday at 8, goes all the way till the end of Sunday. We're in 1988. We are into the heavy Nintendo NES years. Nintendo NES is, I guess, a pretty redundant statement. But we're in the NES years. A lot of these games are mostly childhood favorites, but a lot of them, I would say, especially from this list, are more so games that I played more recently that I've grown to love retrospectively. So why don't we go into the honorable mentions? I don't want to spend too much time on the honorable mentions today. There's only two. The first one is Bubble Bobble. And I'm talking about the NES version. It is on arcade. I'm not sure if it was released in arcade earlier or not, but this is the North American release of the NES version. I'm putting this one specifically because I have fond memories of playing this with my brother and actually beating the game. And I think you need two players to like completely beat the game. I remember this being very difficult. It has like one song the whole game, but I know that we did it and it was satisfying. I mean, it was good to beat it, but I don't know if I'd call it satisfying. But it's an interesting, like, it's very fun cooperatively, I would say. I don't know how to really explain how this game works. I guess it's kind of like Super Mario, or not Super Mario, but Mario Bros. Arcade, where you're just trying to eliminate all the enemies in a screen and then you advance. That's pretty much this game, but it's that every time you beat a screen, like it's a different layout, different enemies. So it's a little more advanced than that, I would say. But I think if there was something to compare it to, I guess it would be that. And then my other honorable mention is going to go to Gauntlet, the NES version. I have never finished this game. However, I have lots of memories playing it because actually beating this game is very difficult. It pretty much requires multiple playthroughs or a walkthrough to even like know what you're doing. But this one, this is where my love of the Gauntlet series came from. I haven't really spoke of it at all too much during all of these videos, but I really do enjoy the Gauntlet series. I guess not enough to like make it honorable mentions and stuff like that. But over the years, I have really enjoyed the series, and this is where my love of it started. And this is another fun two-player game on the NES, so I gotta give it props. It's a weird top-down dungeon crawler, very arcadey. I mean, it's based on an arcade game. And it's I think it's the origin of the original like Gauntlet theme, so or the one that everyone knows. All right, let's go into my top three for 1988. Starting with my bronze medal, which is gonna go to Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link. Not The Legend of Zelda, but Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link, the follow-up to The Legend of Zelda. This is on the NES, of course. This is a game where I never played this one growing up at all. This is one that I discovered later in life through my GameCube copy of The Legend of Zelda Collector's Edition, which came with Zelda 1 and 2, and then it came with Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. So I never played it until the GameCube. But I feel like this one gets a lot of flack. I did mention in the last video I talked about Fax Xanadu, and I was like, it's probably a better Zelda 2. And I still stand by that, but I think Zelda 2 is a fine game. I actually quite enjoy it a lot. I think it's insanely difficult, for sure. I don't think it's one where I needed a walkthrough to actually finish it, though. But I say that, but I think I've seen videos and, things that I was supposed to know how to do it was like probably stuck in my head. So I'm sure there was like things that maybe I would have figured out and maybe I would have gotten frustrated with it. But there's definitely some cryptic stuff in this game. There's a lot of cryptic stuff in a lot of NES games. That's kind of a weird thing to say. But much like Fact Xanadu, this is a platforming RPG. You do level up in this game, and you do get stronger through that. But there's no buying of anything. Everything is found in this game. Your health upgrades, your magic upgrades. Those are leveled up too, but there's like two different parts to it. It's kind of weird. And then like uh, all the different like spells and move upgrades that you learn. Those are all like found in locations throughout the game. So, like I said, it's not like you purchase anything in this game as far as RPG goes, but you do level up. Um, it's got a really fun action system. The Dark Nuts, like fighting them. Once you kind of learn how to cheese them, I guess they're not so bad. But like before you do, they're kind of like intense battles. And so I kind of try to fight them once in a while, just like how I guess the game probably intends you to, and it kind of makes for some really intense fights in the game. But I don't know. I think this game's great. I really love the soundtrack. And like it's got that dungeon theme that they remixed in Melee because it's great, and it's great in this game too. It's not like just like the Melee version of it is great. It's great in the NES game too. So definitely one to check out. My silver medal is gonna go to Blaster Master, also on the NES. I guess these are all NES games. I think I said that, but I know some of these games on here have like technically different versions on other things. I think Blaster Master, when it came out, I think it was exclusively an NES game. I don't think there was any like kind of like arcade or anything like that. This remember how I said Rad Gravity's kind of like a Metroidvania light because it's like straightforward. Blaster Master's like that too, where it feels like a Metroidvania, but it's not because you have to progress in a certain order. There might be a way to sequence break some stuff. I'm not 100% on that, but there's definitely a clear intended way for you to play through this game. But it is styled like a Metroidvania. It's got two different modes. One's like a platforming shooter, kind of like any kind of action platformer on the NES. And then when you go into the dungeons of the game, you have a top-down action game where you control your pilot of the Blaster Master tank. So like there's the tank, which is like the overworld side-scrolling action, and then the pilot is like the top-down like shooting section, which is more in line with like like the top-down sections of like Contra, which I think are in two. I think they're in Super C. There's top-down sections. They're definitely in Super, or not Super C is what I just said. Contra 3. Anyway, they're like top-down sections. This is another game where I discovered this a lot later, by the way. I played this not even 10 years ago, I would say. This isn't one I grew up with, but it's one that I really enjoyed. I don't know what drew me to it. I remember getting it at a MagFest, at a convention, and I'm pretty sure it was MagFest. And I don't know, I had heard good things about Blaster Master. It just seemed like something silly that I hadn't gotten. Maybe Snack got this for me? Did you, Snack? Did you get me this game? Oh man, I don't remember now. It's been so long ago now. You may have been with me when I purchased this game. But regardless, it's one of those games that I was like, I feel like I need to play this game. I feel like I've heard good things about it, and I did, and I really enjoyed it, and it like hooked me on the series. So, not long after I played this game, they announced that there was a reboot coming out, Blaster Master Zero. And I didn't know that was going to turn into a trilogy of games, and I've played all of those, and I really enjoy them a lot. So I'm glad that I played Blaster Master when I did, because it helped me to enjoy the Zero series, and I don't even know if I would have even played that when it came out. I haven't gone back to this game since, though, but I think it is. I think it's just like well made for an NES game. I think they like really got the hang of everything in it. It's definitely one I really want to go back and play now. Now that I've finished the Zero trilogy, I feel like I owe myself to go back and play this game. One downside I would say to this game is there's no kind of saving or password system. It feels like left out. Like there's a continue system, like you can run out of continues and then you're done. That it feels like too long of a game for it to have that in it. Like some games are okay with that, some platformers are okay. That's probably its biggest misstep. This should not be a game where you can lose and you have to start over again and do everything. It's not. It shouldn't be designed like that. And like I said, that's probably it's like one misstep. Um, but besides that, it's a great game, and I believe it's on the NES Online, so you should check it out. Switch Online. All right, my gold medal for 1988 is going to go to Super Mario Bros. 2 USA on the NES. I'm saying USA because I'm not talking about Lost Levels. I'm talking about the one that was released here as Super Mario Bros. 2. You know, the one that was Doki Doki Panic. You know that one. I won't get into that. Actually, what our mascot for the Stacked Game Marathon event is the pose is modeled after, based on. But, you know, SMB2, this is one where I remember playing this on the NES and enjoying it, but it's another one of those Mario games where I really played it a lot more on the Super Nintendo. And honestly, it's probably a better version on the Super Nintendo in All Stars than it is on the NES. Because like this is a game where you can just run out of continues and that's it. And lives, I feel like, are just a lot more difficult to come by in this than they are in the NES game. I don't know why. I don't think there's like. I'm trying to think if there's like cherries on the slot machine on the NES game. I think there are, but regardless, I don't know. It seems like a more difficult game on the NES, and I think it just got a better glow up on the SNES. But I mean, this is still my favorite game of the year because I still really enjoy this game a lot, and I still really enjoy the NES game a lot. That I'm willing to put it at my top slot because I would be more likely to play the NES Mario 2 than Blaster Master or Zelda 2, so I feel like that's why it's really at the top. You know, it's a very unique platformer, especially for its time because it's not you jump on something and it dies, which I guess wasn't established like. That wasn't really a long-standing thing, I suppose. But regardless, you know, it's not a game where you jump on things and they die. You have to pick them up, pick up enemies, and throw them at other enemies, which is a really cool mechanic. And like if you're using Toad, he like runs faster when he's carrying enemies. It's got all bunch of craziness. Like I love how each of the different characters you can play as all have their own things going for them. You know that's where my original like love for Toad came from. You know he's probably my favorite Nintendo character, or at least my favorite Mario series character at least. And I don't know why I just always gravitated towards using him. Just thought he was really cool, and you know that's it. There's not much more to say on Mario 2. You know it's got a great soundtrack. It's a fun playthrough, and it's definitely you know, it's definitely stands apart from like any other Mario game in the series, and I think I'm glad that we got this game over Lost Levels only because I don't think I would have I don't think I would have enjoyed Lost Levels as much because I'm not too fond on that one, but that's not speaking about why I like Mario 2. I just do. I just like the game. That's it. Like, can I just say like, hey, I like this game. That's why. What if one of these lists just end like this is my number one. I like it, and that's it. I mean, you probably want to hear a little bit more than that. And I'm trying to explain why I do. So I hope I've been very thorough, or at least as thorough as I've been trying to be in this series as I have been. We have one more video to go, so I'm not. This isn't my wrap up of the series now, but I know I'm gonna have more to talk about then on tomorrow's video. But thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time for 1987 and more, because there's like a little bit of cleanup that has to be done. 87's not like there's games that came up before 87, so I need an and more addendum. I don't know. Addition. I don't know. I can't speak. these don't. You know I don't edit these. All right. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.